Hello, hello, and welcome to Brad's Weekly Update. Me and Griffin here. We're going to tell you about the games we're most excited about in 2022. You know, this is going to fit in right with the preview episode, so it makes sense that that's what we talk about this week. As far as any snacks, I don't really have any snacks this week. And as far as what I've been playing, nothing too interesting. All stuff I've started before. I've been playing a lot more Lost Judgment, which has been really fun. I got a hoverboard, and it's probably the best combat that has ever been in a Yakuza game. Like, it finally feels really good to fight. Like, I want to fight guys. I'm not running from dudes. It's nice. I mean, sure, they still have issues with like balance and stuff, but the new like snake stance and stuff is really cool. I love throwing guys, grappling dudes at the end of my combos. It's been really fun, and the story's getting crazy. But anyways, we're here to talk about my most anticipated games of 2022. And let's see if I can get a good laugh out of this baby. I do this thing where, let me see. No? He in the mood? He just ate. See? He thinks that's kind of funny. What were we talking about? Oh yeah. I don't really have these ranked, but let's rank them on the fly. Top 5 most anticipated of 2022. Trying to be a little less obvious, like Breath of the Wild 2, Elden Ring. We more or less know what those are. We know they're going to be great. So there's not much to say. My number 5 is Ghostwire Tokyo from Tango Gameworks. The Evil Within is a series I really like. I really like both those games, flaws and all. And I think it's just a really interesting studio, and they put out interesting games. And Ghostwire Tokyo is a game that when I saw the gameplay, I was like, well, I have not played a game that looks like this before. And that kind of was exciting to me. I think most people were hoping for a more traditional horror experience. Like, you probably hear Nick talk about that on the podcast. Like, oh, I just don't know about that gameplay. That first trailer where it was all spooky and serious. He doesn't know what he's talking about. I think it looks cool. I think this studio makes cool games, and it's going to be crazy, and it looks crazy, and it looks different. And that's what's exciting. Number 4 on my list is Triangle Strategy. Triangle Strategy. I can't believe that's the final title of the game. Pretty wild. This is from the Octopath Traveler guys, and while that's not a game I really enjoyed much at all. This looks like to be a spiritual successor of like Tactics Ogre, which is a game I love, and of course Final Fantasy Tactics. And I did play the demo of this, and I really, really liked the demo. I think there's a lot of potential there. I still have some pretty big concerns. I feel like I've talked about that. You could probably find me talking about this game somewhere, like the podcast, but where that after the demo came out, probably the podcast to look for. But I really like the demo. I think there's a lot of potential, and this is a genre that we don't get a lot of games in anymore, and it's one of my favorite genres, the strategy RPG. So I'm very excited about this game, and it has a pretty cool look because that studio does cool looking games, I guess. Number 3 on my list, I'm gonna go with Monster Hunter Sunbreak. This is the full expansion for Monster Hunter Rise, one of my favorite games of 2021, and this is the G-Rank expansion, which means things are going to get a lot harder. The in-game loop is going to get a lot more challenging and crazier, and there's probably going to be a lot more stuff to unlock and grind out, and a lot of new monsters, and probably some pretty crazy hard monsters. One of the things I was missing from Monster Hunter Rise was the challenge, and the G-Rank expansion for a Monster Hunter game is definitely going to bring the challenge. If Monster Hunter Rise has been doing some events lately where they soup up some of the Apex monsters, like a souped up version of Apex Rathian or like Apex Mizutsune, and those hit really, really hard, and while the rewards aren't there, the challenge of what you expect from Monster Hunter, especially, the G-Rank expansion, is kind of in the challenge of those fights. The expansion is just going to bring all the exciting rewards. So Sunbreak, I'm really excited about it. I'm excited about the Western mythology of like vampires and werewolves and stuff is sort of going to be the theme surrounding this one. So that's cool. Number 2, most excited about is Starfield. I know this might be controversial because everyone sort of hates Bethesda these days, but Morrowind is still one of my very favorite RPGs of all time, and I'm always going to give Bethesda the benefit of the doubt. I think people point to Fallout 76. That wasn't actually Bethesda Game Studios, right? That made that game. That was some other studio that they that handled that, and it was designed to be like this weird spin-off thing. So, while that sucks, I'm not really going to blame Bethesda. But then people point to like Fallout 4 and say, well, we didn't really like Fallout 4, but really, ultimately, I think maybe it's just because Fallout's lame. I sort of come to realize that over the years that I just don't love Fallout like a lot of other people, and maybe that's why Fallout 4 sucked. Other people are sort of realizing that now too. But you know what's cool? Elder Scrolls, and I love Morrowind. Oblivion's cool. Skyrim I think is even better than Oblivion, and Starfield is a chance for them to prove themselves again, and I think they could do it. I think they're gonna try their damnedest, right? Because this is a new IP for them, and that's a big deal because they haven't made like a real new IP in a very, very, very long time. So we'll see. It's exciting. And my number 1 most anticipated game. There's a lot of games that is it really going to hit next year? Like Metroid Prime 4. I have no hope that that's going to hit next year. That's why it's not on my list. But I feel like we're actually going to see Final Fantasy 16 next year. I'm pretty confident. I heard somewhere that they plan to that Square Enix had said that when they fully reveal the game and show off the game, it's gonna come out pretty soon after that, and they're supposed to be doing a big reveal in the spring. So I'm expecting that we are going to get Final Fantasy 16 this year, and that's very exciting for me because Final Fantasy used to be one of my very, very favorite franchises. My most video game nostalgia in the world is tied up in the Final Fantasy series, but it's been a very long time since I cared about Final Fantasy, and I think it's because it's all like stupid stuff, right? Like driving cars in the deserts with your boys, and this is traditional fantasy, dark fantasy, Yasumi Matsuno looking Final Fantasy, right? Fucking knights in armor, and then political intrigue. Final Fantasy Tactics is my favorite game of all time. You know that. This kind of resembles that, so I'm excited in terms of like tone and world, and it's being worked on by the Final Fantasy 14 people, right? I've come to realize that I hate MMOs, but you know what I do like is RPGs. So if those people are spending their talents into a traditional RPG, then I'm here for it, and that's why it's the game I'm most excited about, minus dozens of others that I'm sure these other guys are going to talk about on the podcast. So let's, I guess, let them get back to it, and that's going to be it for me. Y'all have a good week. Say goodbye to Griffin. Oh, look at his onesie. He's got some nerd stuff on it that y'all would like, right? I guess. Let's see if we can get one more good laugh out of him. It's getting late. He might be a little tired. Okay. All right. Y'all have a good week. Bye. Oh, wait. Where's the little remote? Okay. Bye. Bye.